Hello again, everyone. This is Joe Henches with Beyond the Chart, and this is technical analysis of the stock market today. Today is Wednesday, November 26th, and we're going to take a look at the markets like we usually do, then take a walk around the globe and look at Germany, Russia, India, China, and then take a look at QIHU 360, YOKU, QIHU 360, YOKU Todo, YY, and Adobe. Okay, let's take a look at the Dow Industrials here. The Dow, the trading range was very tight again. The trading range here was actually inside, definitely inside yesterday, and it may have even been inside. I don't know. The low is 17,793. No, we weren't inside that day, but we probably had a range that was actually shorter than. We had a range of about what? 42, 43 points or something like that today. Extremely tight. Now we're really overbought on this. Look where the RSI is, up here above 80. But a lot of times that's an indication of a strong trend. But again, the thing I talked about on Monday in my post is how many days above. And then I was looking at the SPX. So let's go to the SPX. How many days above the 10-day moving average, where we're starting with here, right here. So this is like day 27. So there's a few stretches a couple stretches that have been longer than this. I think 3 of them that I found back in the last 5.5 years, but not many. But right now it's a strong move, and it doesn't seem to be. We're not getting any divergence. Just tiny bit here, but I wouldn't call that divergence. Actually, you need more than that. But again, it's up in that rarefied air where just keeps pushing right along top of the Keltner channel. And let's see, the ones that had some movement today actually were in the DAX and the Russell 2000. You can see that in here. I mean, the range on the Nasdaq. Sorry, did I say DAX? I meant Nasdaq. And then the New York Composite. Tight again. So the New York Composite again and the SPX and the Dow are all kind of mirroring each other now. But the Nasdaq, the Russell 2000, a little bit of movement, but again, inside yesterday's movement. But again, notice how we're still hugging this trend line, which is kind of interesting. It'll be interesting to see if we can break above that or not. Short-term trading index is back into the neutral mode here. The VIX, where did the VIX go? The VIX is down, just keeps pushing lower. So again, no sign that it's turning. Are we getting any divergence? No, it's not diverging on the RSI. And this is not clear. This is just a mess. This is just overlapping. That's not going to help at all. All right, so let's see the high-low index. And, the 10's below the 21, but we're basically starting to go sideways now. So it's not really showing me a whole lot of indication of anything. I thought we were getting a little bit of an M-top in here, kind of like what we did back here in July, after we had been down a little bit and below, and then we got a little M-top and then rolled over. But it doesn't seem to be doesn't seem to be playing out that way. That caught my eye, but you just never know. All right, I think that's it on the indicators. Because let's go ahead and jump in and take a look at the see how the other indices are doing. And the German DAX I found really interesting because, I know I talked about this last week, and look what it did this last week, last 5 days. I mean, it just has taken off like a rocket. And so now we talked about how it was trending, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. Well, now that just went out the window. Now we've just gone back up. We got a higher high. So now it's going to be, this is taking off. It's starting to mirror like the market, like our markets anyway here in the United States. So very, very strong activity in Germany. And you'd think, well, doesn't look like, it looks like everything's firing on all cylinders over there. I mean, that's what you start to interpret from this. Let me back off and look at that a little bit bigger. I'm just kind of the bigger picture. I mean, it still could be a part of a very large topping formation in here. There's no doubt, but it looks like it's trying at least to break out. You can break out of this little trend line here. It's trying to do something there. Let's look at the MI6 Russia. Russia's not having any problem. We talked about this. We had a little pullback, I think, a week ago. We've gone sideways, I guess, last 5 days. We looked at this a week ago. So it's gone sideways, but it's still hanging up near the top of the range, which we talked about. It's right near the top of the ranges. And the next one is India. India is doing very well, continues to push, although slightly very tightly compressed trading ranges on a per day basis, but still continuing to ride above the 10-day exponential moving average on the right side and riding right above. Okay. And the last one we're going to take a look at is the Shanghai Composite, and wow, this is just, blasted off too. I mean, look at the last 4 days from this little pullback here, and then wow, boom. So part of this is of course China, they eased up on interest rates first time, I think they said, I'm trying to remember, 2012, I think that's when it was. So they're trying to stimulate the economy a little bit because they were getting indicators that some things were slowing down, factory activity was slowing down. We talked about that over the last month or two. But I mean, look at the nice move now we've got in the Shanghai Composite. My best read on this is that we're in some kind of fifth wave. I'll be honest, I mean, this is a little questionable, to me. I mean, it looks like a 1, a kind of 2. This is like a 50 to 60% pullback of this little move in here. Okay, and then I think we have a 3 in here and a 4th pullback, and now we're working a 5, but this is pretty strong. So it may be something even bigger than that. And so when you look back and say, okay, where are we on a bigger scheme of things? We're breaking out into highs here in China. We're back into back into the mid 2011. Okay, so really about 1, 2, 3 year highs. So that's nice. This is a nice. Let me get my little. This is a nice little rounding bottom that it sure seems to be putting in. So we'll see if that continues to play out. Okay, let me get back to my mouse. And now let's jump in and take a look at QIHU 360. Now this had a big move. Something I know they announced something. I think it was a buyback of shares or something. I can't remember what it was yesterday or in the morning before then, or it might have even been earnings. I'm not sure. And so we've got a big pop, huge volume. Let's take a look at that. Huge volume right here, and so this is pulled back to this neckline. Okay, this horizontal neckline across this big topping formation. Let me rescale that. So now you can see, there's no doubt that that's a big topping formation. So the real question is it done? Is it going to hold? Is that all there is? Is this going to basically break down and turn to the upside? To me, we'd have to get a close above this line and starting to move. Now, it made a good start at it, but I think the jury's still out a little bit on it. So we'll have to just continue to watch and see. I'm not convinced yet. Okay, the other two, we're going to take a look at is YOKU 22. This is interesting to me. 2 weeks ago, I talked about how I thought we might be getting up to this point. We might be getting where this gets some resistance and comes back down and forms, a shoulder, like a head and shoulders bottom. Okay, shoulder, head, and shoulder. Okay, now that's what I think we could be doing. Now I had this dotted line drawn in here, I don't know, a long time ago, because I at least 2 weeks ago, and because when I pulled this up here recently, it was in here, and therefore I was targeting off of this line here where the right shoulder might be. So this is what I'm watching right now. Are we going to get some support and buying? Is this going to turn and start to close back above the 10-day exponential moving average? If it does, I'm going to start to get really, really interested. Of course, we're going to have to watch. Let me get rid of it. I got to go back to my mouse. We're going to have to watch the volume on it. And let me move this up. Get some of these. I like to just kind of want to. Let's look at the RSI. RSI is pulled back. Okay, so look here is a high. See how the RSI is up around 80? To me, when you start getting, a lot of times what will happen, you get an 80 reading and then it'll pull back down into the 40 range to 40. And so when you're in bull mode, you cycle between 80 and 40. When you're in bear mode on RSI, you cycle between 20 and 60, 20 to 65, that type of range, okay? So now we could be, this is what I'll be watching for. Are we getting support? Does buying come in here? And so now, when you look at the volume's dropping off here. You had a big volume drop off, big volume move here, and a little higher here. But now this second little wind down, a little less. So kind of watching that. I would have liked to have seen more volume in this move right here, up to this points, the pivot points. I'd like to see volume in here. So that's a little worrisome to me. So we'll just watch to see if this develops like I'm thinking it might. It's interesting to see these, to kind of conjure up these scenarios and then see if it will play along. All right, and the last one is YY, and then I want to hit Adobe because I got into that with a trade idea today. All right, YY, this one, I still think it's doing an ABC, but I'll be honest, this A move here is 50% retrace of the primary wave up, okay? It doesn't look like it, but point-wise, it's 50%, okay? And because I've got this on semi-log. So because it's 50%, it's a possibility that this is the correction, and this is wave 1, wave 2, and we're working some kind of wave 3, okay? So the thing that gave me a little bit of caution on that is that when we rallied here, we didn't go much beyond this. This seemed a little bit flattish to me in terms of, rather than an impulsive, very strong wave 3. But if we start to break this trend line, then I've got to start to give that scenario, that alternate count, a little bit more of a hard look on it. I mean, this could be some kind of 1, 2, and we're off on 3 of 3. This wave count in here is a little messy. Looks like some kind of triangular activity, maybe an ending C, like an ABC within this A wave here, but it's not super clear to me. So we'll just, we continue to watch. I'll be watching this trend line. We're watching the activity here on YY. The last one we'll take a look at tonight is Adobe. And Adobe, again, it's trending very nicely to the upside here. Now, it had a little pullback, and now it's got a couple closes above the 10. And I saw this morning, a little bit late, and I put it out on the website, and then I tweeted it. So one thing I'll always do is when I have a new trade idea, I'm always going to tweet it. So that if people are paying attention, follow me. My Twitter handle's @JoeHenches. So that's pretty simple, pretty easy to follow. And so now I'm thinking this could be breaking out, and it's broken above this high here, the 2-day high, very nicely. Closed right near the high, which I like to see. Now the one thing that's bothering me is there wasn't a whole lot of volume today. I mean, look how low that volume was. Okay, so that bothers me a little bit, but we'll see. I do like the way you draw this trend line across the top here, and that it's breaking above that. But that also means that we potentially could run into some resistance here at the high at 73.58 and at the previous point high up here at 74.69. So well, we'll see what kind of follow through we get on Friday morning and into on Monday. So That was the new trade idea we got into. We got stopped out of Broadcom today. Frustrating. We had a tight stop in on that. Was hoping it was going to do a little reversal action, but it did not. Did not play out. Kind of teased us for several days and then just, stopped out. And today also the thing that kind of threw me off a little bit, I didn't realize it was cash dividend date. It was dividend payout, so that altered the way the pricing was on the stock. But that's the way she rolls. So that's it for tonight. Everyone here in the United States, have a great Thanksgiving, and everyone everywhere else in the world. I know I've got a lot of people. I think there's folks from 60 countries around the world that stop in and visit and watch the videos and come to the website every month. So that's fantastic. So I would love to see that double over the next year. So anyway, I will be back on Saturday. Everyone have a great Thursday, Friday, and we'll talk to you then.